Hey, this is Stacey Hall from staceyhall.com, and my mission is to simplify online marketing and make it fun for entrepreneurs to increase their confidence, influence, and results. I see a lot of people struggling out there, I gotta tell you, and today we're gonna talk about branding. Is that something that you have been struggling with? Because if so, hang around because I'm gonna help you figure this out. Here's the thing with branding. We all know that it's critically important to the success of our business if we're going to try and build it online, right? But not everyone is really super clear on exactly what a brand is, how to get a good one, and if they think they have one now, do they really? That's what we're going to talk about. There are a lot of people out there who are under the assumption that they have a workable brand, but I'm here to tell you that they kind of don't. Here's the thing. I, for the longest time, also did not have a brand, and I thought I did. For those of you who are in the home business or network marketing space, the perfect example is as follows. You see a million people online, and they all say, I help network marketers get more leads, make more sales, and recruit more reps into their business. Well, that's not a brand. That's just a sentence. And so people sometimes get confused between a tagline, a statement, and an actual brand. Here's the thing. That sentence, which is so pervasive and common, is not actually very effective for most people. There is the odd person online who uses it incredibly effectively because they have a massive following, and what they say they do is exactly what they quantifiably do. They help people get more leads, make more sales, and recruit more reps. But for the vast majority of people using those kind of statements, it doesn't have a whole lot of beef or meat or meaning behind it. So the deal with getting a brand that works is that it needs to be underpinned with a whole lot of you. Your brand is basically the expression of everything that you are to the world. So doesn't it just make sense that it needs to have mostly you underpinning it? And most people's brands just don't. So you need to start by knowing what your core values are. What is important to you? What values, if not present in your relationships, makes you feel inauthentic or incomplete? Those are the main values that are going to make up the spine of your brand. And if you build your brand with your core values and what you want at the core of it, anything that you do is going to automatically suddenly be consistent and congruent to your message, because your message is you. You've created a brand that is you, and that's the way that it should be. So you should always start figuring out what your brand is by figuring out what you want and what your core values are. Most people get this upside down, and the first thing they do is they go and try and find a catchy tagline. But I'm telling you, no matter how catchy that tagline is, if it doesn't have the work behind it, the meat underpinning it, it won't stick, it won't have any relevance, and it won't get you any attention. So like, just do it, for example, the famous slogan we all know, I can assure you there was work behind creating that. There was substance behind creating that. It isn't just thrown out into thin air, and yours shouldn't be either. Don't worry about trying to sound good or creating a brand that you think is what you should be doing, or you think is what people expect of you, or is what people in your niche are doing, so you should do also. It's the total opposite. If they're all zigging, you should zag. That's how you're going to get attention. So now that you know that, give some thought to your core values. And then from there, you're going to build your brand statement. Your brand statement is a verbal expression or a written expression of who you are, who you serve, how you help those people, and what results those people are going to get by working directly with you. Does that make sense? So that's your brand statement. It does have a formula, okay? It's a bit of an art form, it's a bit of a talent to get this really dialed in, but you can, if you can't afford to hire a branding specialist, You can do this by following the formula, okay? You're just gonna have to play around and see what works. But the formula goes a little something like this, okay? I help A, B, so that C. Okay, that sounds really complicated, but those are your three variables. I help A. A is a specific person or group of people. All right, so that could be new moms, that could be struggling network marketers, that could be teachers, real estate agents in the United States, whatever. A person, specific person or group of people. I help A. B, do, have, or feel something, okay, so that C, they get a result. So your brand statement should be calling out a very specific group of people, telling them what you do to help them so that they can have a specific result. Okay? That is your brand statement. So now when you look at somebody who says, I help network marketers get more leads, make more sales, and recruit more reps, do you see how that kind of falls flat? Okay, you help network marketers, but what network marketers? All network marketers? Right? It's not very specific. And then when you say get more leads, make more sales, and recruit more reps, you're left thinking, how? How do you do that? How do you do that exactly? Do you like run around downtown and put flyers on people's cars? Because that's not really something I want to be doing. Do you scream from the mountaintop? Hello! Right? It's not very specific. So that's why that kind of thing is just sort of not very effective. That is your basic formula for your brand statement. Now, the fun part that people always get so caught up on is actually the tagline. People just love coming up with taglines, just love throwing that stuff out. But like I said before, it has no meaning unless you do this work first, because the tagline is actually derived from the work of coming up with your brand statement. Once you have that, then the tagline is going to come out of that, because the tagline is actually a more succinct interpretation of your brand statement, but it is based on it, okay? So like for me, my brand statement, you heard at the beginning of this video, I simplify online marketing and make it fun for entrepreneurs to increase their confidence, influence, and results. So we know who I serve, right? How I help them, and what they get by working with me. That's my brand statement. My tagline is make your mark. Okay? Do you see? So the tagline has no meaning without the brand statement done first, right? Okay. So anyhow, I hope that helps make sense. Now, the third piece of the equation we talked about, there's three phases of your brand, right? Your brand statement, your tagline, and your soundbite. Your soundbite is basically what you say to people when they ask you what you do. And it basically takes your brand statement and your tagline and it presents it as like a service to that person. Because when you're talking to people, all they really care about is how you can help them. So if you present it in the way that you help them, it makes sense to them, okay? So you have your brand statement, which is your short description, your tagline, a simpler expression of that, and your soundbite, the blurb that you say in public. And if you have all three of those pieces together, and then you find your colors, your fonts, all the fun, pretty stuff that's gonna make your pages look beautiful, then you have a brand. See? It's not as simple as people think, but there's this pervasive concept out there that we should all just go out and create content and that's your brand. That's not true. You should go out there and create content even if you don't yet have a totally succinct brand. It shouldn't stop you. But I would say that the sooner you have this brand piece in place, the easier it is going to be for you to create content that is congruent with your message. Because people need to know what to think of you immediately when they land on your page. They need to know, oh, am I in the right place? Yes, I am. Awesome. So you need to have those bookends that tell you the area within which your content needs to be created to be congruent to your brand and your messaging. Everything needs to have your branding and your messaging very clear within it, no matter what you do. I really hope that helps. I know this was a little bit long, but I think it just really needed to be said. People need some clarity on this. Listen up. I have some great connections when it comes to branding. I can help you out in this department. So if you're struggling, by all means, reach out to me, okay? If you're here on my blog, leave me a message. If you're on one of the social media profiles, same, you can reach out to me. That would be amazing, okay? I want to help you out. So if you think this can help any of your teammates or friends, please, by all means, tag, forward, whatever you need to do. Share this with them so that they can get going on their brand and start getting results in their business too. All right, my friends, have an awesome day. I'll see you on the next one. In the meantime, go make your mark. Love you. Bye for now.